Beloved, the universe is not poor, and neither are you. There is no lack except the one you imagine through fear, doubt, and disbelief. The law of supply is as constant as the law of gravity, and it responds not to your struggles, but to your words, your thoughts, and your inner conviction. You are the heir to infinite abundance, and every moment you either claim it through faith or repel it through fear. People look to the world and say, "Times are hard, the market is down, opportunities are scarce." Yet the truth is that no market controls your supply. Divine supply flows through ideas, inspiration, and invisible channels that no recession can close. The outer world only mirrors your inner vibration. If you say, "I prosper in any market," you align with the higher law, and the law must fulfill your decree. You are not at the mercy of chance or economy. You are guided by a spiritual law that never fails. The one who stands firm in faith sees doors open where others see walls. When the world says, "Possible," faith says, "Already done." You cannot serve two masters, fear of loss and faith in abundance. Choose this day whom you will serve, and your results will show. The key is to speak prosperity as if it were already yours, because in truth it already is. When you declare wealth with feeling and faith, you set the law of attraction and the law of substitution in motion. Every fearful thought must be replaced with a fearless affirmation. If you say, "There is no money," you plant the seed of lack. But if you say, "Divine substance flows to me freely, easily, and constantly," you plant the seed of supply. The wise never chase money, they magnetize it. They know that money is simply energy, a reflection of inner order, faith, and gratitude. They release every sense of grasping or worry, for that only closes the channel. Gratitude opens the gates of increase. To bless your current possessions is to multiply them. To curse your situation is to block your own good. The rich in spirit understand that every apparent setback is a setup for expansion. When outer conditions appear difficult, it is only the universe rearranging itself for your higher good. Many lose faith when circumstances tighten, not realizing that faith must first be tested to be proven. You cannot demonstrate abundance by sight, you must walk by faith. You must affirm, "My wealth is secure in divine mind. My opportunities are unfolding now. I am divinely guided to right actions that bring increase." Do not wait for the market to rise. Rise yourself. Do not wait for others to approve. Approve yourself. Your wealth does not depend on what others do. It depends on what you think, speak, and believe. The world is filled with stories of those who prospered in times of chaos, because they refused to accept limitation as law. They knew that supply is spiritual, not material. When you fear the market, you give power to shadows. When you trust divine law, you walk in light. Fear is faith inverted. Faith in evil rather than good. The moment you reverse it, the tide turns. Declare that nothing and no one can obstruct your good. Say aloud, "Every day in every way my supply increases. I am guided. I am protected. I am prosperous." Let these words become your mental music. If you are in debt, do not speak of debt, speak of release. If you are jobless, do not say, "I am unemployed." Say, "My perfect work comes to me now through divine order." You are never truly unemployed when divine mind is your employer. The universe always finds a way for those who trust its law. Every worry about money is a form of worship to fear. Every affirmation of abundance is a hymn to faith. You are not called to beg for riches. You are called to recognize them. The law of abundance does not respond to desperation, it responds to calm expectancy. Act rich in consciousness and you will draw rich results. Imagine yourself as a divine magnet. Whatever you bless, you attract. Whatever you fear, you delay. You cannot attract prosperity while you secretly believe you are undeserving of it. Erase that false idea now. You were born worthy. The universe does not withhold. It waits for permission to give. Your permission is your belief. When you align your words with truth, your finances begin to reflect it. Say daily, "I am one with infinite substance. I prosper wherever I am. The market is only an instrument, but my supply is divine and limitless." These words, spoken with faith, form the vibration that manifests abundance in visible form. So long as you live under divine law, there is no such thing as loss. Every so-called loss is a preparation for greater gain. Every door that closes is divine protection guiding you to a larger opportunity. Wealth is not a matter of market. It is a matter of consciousness. When you change your inner conversation, the outer market must obey. Never say, "This is too hard." Say instead, "This is my season of increase." Never say, "There is not enough." Say, "I am connected to the source that never runs dry." Never say, "The market is bad." Say, "The market is the field of my divine harvest." Speak it, believe it, act it, and the invisible law will bring it forth. Prosperity is not something you chase in the outer world, it is something you awaken within yourself. It is not a number in a bank account or a price on a chart. It is a vibration of inner certainty, a state of knowing that supply is infinite and ever present. The person who understands this law is never disturbed by outer appearances, for they know that circumstances are but mirrors of inner belief. To say that prosperity is a state of consciousness means that wealth begins in thought, in imagination, in faith. You cannot hold images of poverty, fear, and limitation and expect abundance to flow through you. The universe can only give you what your mind is ready to receive. Every thought of prosperity builds an invisible current of supply around you. Every thought of lack blocks that flow. You are either expanding or contracting your wealth consciousness in every moment by what you dwell upon. Those who live by appearances will always be tossed by appearances. When markets rise, they feel safe. When markets fall, they panic. But those who live by divine law understand that their wealth is not in the outer conditions, but in their consciousness of supply. They see opportunity where others see difficulty, because their minds are tuned to abundance, not fear. They are not victims of economic tides. They are masters of their mental state. When you hold prosperity consciousness, you become a magnet to ideas, people, and events that carry increase. Outer success is only the echo of inner wealth. To cultivate this consciousness, one must train the mind to think truth instead of appearances. The outer world may whisper, "You are losing, things are hard, money is scarce." But you must stand firm in the invisible truth that divine substance knows no scarcity. The wise affirm, "Everything I need is already mine in divine mind, and I now bring it forth into visible expression." This affirmation is not wishful thinking, it is a declaration of alignment with spiritual law. Thought is creative, and every word spoken with faith becomes form. When you say, "I am rich in mind and spirit," you vibrate in harmony with abundance. The universe recognizes that vibration and reflects it back through ideas, opportunities, and supply. The mistake most people make is believing that prosperity depends on the market, on employers, or on circumstances. They say, "I will prosper when conditions improve," but conditions are created by consciousness. The outer is always a reflection of the inner. You cannot wait for better times to feel prosperous, you must feel prosperous to create better times. The inner state must precede the outer result. This is the divine order. As you raise your vibration to match the feeling of abundance, the law of attraction begins to draw to you the outer symbols of that state. Clients, opportunities, ideas, and money. True prosperity is a sense of peace about supply. It is knowing that you are connected to an infinite source that never runs dry. When you live from this awareness, you do not worry about where money will come from, because you know that divine intelligence is already working out the details. You stop clinging to one channel and realize that channels may change, but the source remains the same. The market may rise and fall, jobs may come and go, but divine substance is eternal. The one who holds this knowing walks calmly through uncertainty, radiating faith. They do not strive, they allow. They do not grasp, they receive. You can test your prosperity consciousness by how you react when things seem uncertain. If fear grips you, it is only a sign that you have forgotten your connection to infinite supply. The remedy is to return to truth, to affirm abundance even in the face of lack. When you hold firm to the truth, circumstances must rearrange themselves to match your conviction. The law is exact as within, so without. To live in prosperity consciousness, you must purify your thoughts and words. Every complaint about money, every criticism of others' wealth, every fearful statement reinforces poverty. The universe responds to your dominant vibration, not your wishes. If you secretly feel unworthy of abundance, your words of prosperity will have no power. You must come to know that you are a divine expression of infinite intelligence, fully deserving of every good thing. Worthiness is not earned, it is recognized. The moment you accept your divine inheritance, the flow begins. Gratitude is the quickest way to shift into prosperity consciousness. When you bless what you already have, you multiply it. When you curse your situation, you diminish it. The grateful heart is magnetic. It draws more to be grateful for. Every morning and night, give thanks for the money you have, the work you do, the ideas that come, and even the lessons learned through challenges. Gratitude keeps your mind attuned to increase. Another aspect of prosperity consciousness is detachment from outcome. The person who is obsessed with results sends out a vibration of fear and doubt, but the one who trusts the process rests in calm expectancy. They know that divine timing is perfect, and that their good cannot be lost. When you let go of forcing and start flowing, you align with the rhythm of divine order. Generosity also strengthens prosperity consciousness. When you give freely, you affirm abundance. You tell the universe, I have enough to share. Giving opens the channel for receiving. It may not always return through the same avenue, but the law ensures that it returns multiplied. Those who cling to every coin out of fear of loss unknowingly block their own flow. The hand that gives freely is the hand that receives freely. Imagination is another powerful tool for building this inner state. Visualize yourself living with ease, confidence, and plenty. Feel it as if it were already real. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between imagined and actual experience. It simply responds to the dominant feeling. By holding the picture of abundance with emotion and faith, you imprint it upon the subconscious, which then draws outer conditions to match the inner image. Prosperity consciousness is not arrogance or greed, it is alignment with the natural abundance of life. The trees do not struggle to grow leaves, the oceans do not strain to produce waves. Nature operates in overflow, and so must you. Poverty is not humility, it is misunderstanding of divine law. To live in lack is to deny your source. To live in abundance is to honor it. When you walk through the world knowing that you are backed by infinite intelligence, fear loses its hold. You stop asking, can I afford it? And start affirming, divine supply meets every demand. You stop saying, there's not enough, and start saying, there is always enough and more coming. The person who holds this truth with conviction becomes a living channel of prosperity, a beacon through which divine substance flows into the world. The outer market may shift, currencies may fluctuate, opportunities may appear and disappear, but none of these things touch the consciousness of one who knows that prosperity is an inner state. When your mind is anchored in abundance, you live in peace amidst chaos, in faith amidst fear, and in increase amidst decline. You no longer depend on circumstances to feel secure, because your security is founded on unchanging spiritual law. You realize that the secret of wealth is not what you have, but what you are. You become the source rather than the seeker. Your words and thoughts are not mere expressions, they are commands to the universe. Every statement you make, every thought you dwell upon, sends forth a vibration that calls to itself its own kind. The law of mind is the law of correspondence. What you affirm with conviction must eventually appear in your world. You do not attract what you wish for. You attract what you believe and speak as truth. The world you live in today is the harvest of your past words and thoughts, and your future will be the outgrowth of what you are planting now through your inner conversation. Words are not empty sounds. They are spiritual forces clothed in vibration. When spoken with faith, they move unseen energies into motion. When spoken with fear, they create confusion and delay. Every phrase you utter is a seed, and every seed must bring forth fruit after its kind. When you speak of limitation, you set the law of limitation into action. When you declare abundance, you set the law of abundance into action. Many people unknowingly use their words to cancel their own good. They pray for prosperity but then say, it's hard to make money. Or, things never work out for me, and the universe must obey that contradiction. The law cannot be mocked. It gives back exactly what is impressed upon it. You may not realize it, but each word you speak is a decree of your future. The wise speak with intention, knowing that divine substance responds instantly to every vibration of faith. They choose words that bless, uplift, and affirm the good they desire. They never speak of lack, because to do so is to claim it. They never declare defeat, because to do so is to invite it. They understand that words are creative commands, not casual remarks. Thoughts are the silent version of words, and they hold the same power. What you repeatedly think forms the pattern of your consciousness, and consciousness produces experience. If your thoughts are saturated with worry, resentment, or fear, your outer world will reflect those same conditions. If your thoughts are filled with peace, gratitude, and expectation of good, the universe mirrors that back as prosperity and ease. Every mental image you hold with emotion is a blueprint for your life. You cannot build a mansion of abundance with bricks of doubt. The mind must be disciplined to dwell only on what you wish to bring forth. To master your words and thoughts, you must first become aware of them. Most people live unconsciously, repeating phrases of limitation they inherited from others. They say, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or, "You have to struggle to get ahead," not realizing that these words are self-imposed chains. When you awaken to the truth that thought and speech are creative, you begin to guard them as sacred instruments. You become the gatekeeper of your own prosperity. Each time a thought of lack arises, you replace it with a thought of abundance. Each time a word of fear slips out, you correct it immediately with one of faith. This practice reprograms the mind to align with divine law. The subconscious mind is the fertile soil of creation. It does not reason or question. It simply accepts whatever is impressed upon it through repetition and emotion. When you speak words with feeling, they sink into the subconscious and begin to manifest in your outer world. That is why casual complaining is dangerous. The subconscious does not know you are just venting. It hears the words, feels the emotion, and begins to reproduce that vibration in your circumstances. The wise therefore speak only what they desire to see made manifest. They understand that their words are living seeds sown in the garden of the mind. Affirmations are the conscious use of this power. When you say, "I am prosperous," you are not describing your present condition but declaring your divine identity. You are calling forth the unseen supply that already exists in potential form. The power lies not in the words themselves, but in the conviction behind them. Empty repetition produces little, faith-filled declaration produces miracles. Each time you affirm abundance, you strengthen the mental path through which supply can flow. You are training the mind to accept wealth as normal, natural, and divinely ordained. Negative speech, on the other hand, shuts the door to increase. Words like, "I can't," "I never," or "it's impossible," are commands to failure. They instruct divine law to hold back the very good that belongs to you. To say, "I can't afford it," is to reject the possibility of supply. To say, "I always struggle," is to make struggle your law. You must replace such statements with truth-filled decrees. Divine supply meets every demand. I am always provided for. Everything I need comes to me easily and joyfully. Speak these words not as a wish but as an established fact. Thought control is equally essential. You cannot always control the first thought that enters your mind, but you can control the second. When a thought of fear arises, replace it instantly with a thought of faith. When you catch yourself imagining loss, picture abundance instead. When you feel doubt, affirm trust. The mind cannot hold two opposing vibrations at once. Whichever you feed will dominate. By persistent practice, you will retrain your mind to stay aligned with prosperity. Your words and thoughts are also magnetic. They not only shape your inner state, but draw matching conditions from the outer world. If you constantly speak of opportunity, opportunity begins to appear. If you constantly complain of unfairness, life gives you more reasons to complain. This is not superstition, it is the operation of spiritual law. The vibration you emit determines the experiences you attract. To change your outer results, you must first change your inner dialogue. Another key to commanding the flow of divine supply through thought and word is emotion. The feeling behind your words gives them power. A cold, mechanical affirmation carries little energy, but a statement charged with enthusiasm and gratitude vibrates strongly and moves quickly into form. When you say, "I am divinely prospered," feel it deeply. Imagine it as already true. Feel the relief, the confidence, the joy of abundance realized. The universe responds not to mere words but to the feeling those words evoke. You must also learn the art of silence, for idle talk weakens spiritual force. Speak only when your words carry purpose. Speak to bless, to uplift, to affirm good. The careless chatter of lack, gossip, or worry scatters your energy and diminishes your power. Every word you speak is a decree to divine substance. Make sure it is a decree you wish to live by. Even in conversation, train yourself to speak from faith rather than fear. When someone says, "The economy is collapsing," you may respond, "I am guided by divine intelligence, and my supply is secure." Such words not only protect your consciousness, but also plant seeds of truth in the minds of others. Visualization can amplify the power of words and thoughts. When you declare abundance, picture it vividly. See yourself paying your bills with ease, sharing generously, living in comfort and peace. The mind loves images, and every image charged with faith becomes a magnet to its physical counterpart. Combine vision, word, and feeling, and you create a triad of creative force that nothing can resist. Faith is the invisible substance that activates your word. Without faith, words are hollow. With faith, they are living power. Faith means knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen. It means trusting that your declaration is fulfilled, even when the evidence has not yet appeared. The moment you speak a word of truth with faith, it is established in the unseen realm and will appear in due course. The delay is never denial, it is simply the time required for manifestation to reach physical form. Every great change begins with a thought and a word. To command divine supply, you must think abundance, speak abundance, and act as though it were already yours. Each word of truth spoken in faith moves you closer to demonstration. Each thought of confidence builds the invisible bridge between idea and manifestation. Your world rises or falls to the level of your conversation. Speak as one who knows the law, and the law will serve you. Faith, gratitude, and right action are the invisible trinity that magnetize wealth in any circumstance. They form the spiritual foundation upon which all lasting prosperity rests. Without faith, your words are hollow. Without gratitude, your blessings wither. Without right action, your faith remains unexpressed. These three principles are not separate powers, but one continuous current of divine energy moving through your consciousness. Faith opens the door, gratitude keeps it open, and right action allows the flow to move through you into the outer world. When these three are harmonized, no market condition, no outer limitation, and no appearance of lack can prevent your good from manifesting. Faith is the first law of prosperity, because it aligns your mind with the unseen supply. It is the inner conviction that abundance exists now, even when your senses deny it. Faith is not hope, it is certainty. Hope looks to the future, but faith lives in the now. It declares, "It is done," long before the evidence appears. Faith does not ask how, it knows that divine intelligence already knows how. When you live in faith, you release worry, for worry is faith in reverse. Faith is an act of mental obedience to divine law. It refuses to believe in failure. Those who cultivate unshakable faith stand firm when others fall apart. They are guided to right ideas, right timing, and right people because their vibration attracts order and opportunity. Faith operates through word and imagination. When you affirm your good, you must feel the reality of it. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and visible. You may not see the supply yet, but you sense its presence. You walk as though it were already in your possession. Faith is the soil in which prosperity grows, and fear is the drought that dries it. To strengthen faith, one must feed the mind daily with truth. Affirmations, visualization, prayer, and meditation are tools that renew faith when appearances threaten to shake it. Each time you choose faith over fear, you expand your capacity to receive. Gratitude is the next law of increase. It multiplies whatever it touches. When you are grateful for what you have, you align with abundance. When you complain about what is missing, you align with lack. Gratitude is not only a response to good results, it is the cause of them. To give thanks before the harvest is the secret of the wise. It shows that you trust the invisible process of divine law. A grateful heart never knows poverty, for gratitude keeps the channel of supply open and flowing. When you bless what you have, you magnetize more of it. When you bless others' success, you invite success into your own experience. Gratitude transforms your state of consciousness instantly. You cannot feel gratitude and fear at the same time. You cannot bless your situation and curse it simultaneously. The moment you give thanks for your current blessings, even if they seem small, you lift yourself into a higher vibration, where greater good can reach you. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles because it affirms the presence of good where others see lack. Each time you say, "Thank you for my abundance," you strengthen your inner belief that abundance is your natural state. The universe responds to appreciation as surely as a flower responds to sunlight. Many people delay gratitude until they see physical evidence of increase. But the spiritual law works in reverse. Gratitude must come first. The one who can give thanks in the midst of apparent lack has already opened the door to supply. When you are grateful for money in your pocket, more will find its way to you. When you give thanks for work you love, better opportunities will appear. When you bless your debts and affirm that divine order governs them, unexpected ways of payment arise. Gratitude changes your frequency, and the new frequency draws new experiences. Right action completes the circuit. Faith and gratitude create the vibration, but right action grounds it in the material world. The law of prosperity demands movement. You must act on your guidance, follow your intuition, and take inspired steps. Right action is not frantic effort or forced labor. It is the calm, confident doing that springs from inner knowing. When faith fills your mind and gratitude fills your heart, action flows naturally and effortlessly. You find yourself at the right place at the right time, saying the right words and meeting the right people. Right action also means integrity in all dealings. True wealth cannot come through deception or fear. It must flow through honesty, service, and alignment with divine principle. When your actions are guided by truth and kindness, you establish yourself as a clear channel for prosperity. Every transaction becomes an act of blessing. Every task, no matter how small, becomes a sacred opportunity to express excellence. Prosperity is not gained by manipulating outer conditions but by expressing inner order in outer form. There is power in movement. Faith without action is thought without form. You can affirm abundance endlessly, but until you act as though it were true, the law remains dormant. Action tells the universe you are ready to receive. When you feel inspired to call someone, start a project, invest in learning, or create something of value, that is divine guidance moving you toward manifestation. The more quickly you respond to inner direction, the faster your good unfolds. Delay and hesitation block the flow. Confidence and obedience to intuition release it. Right action is not about doing everything yourself, but about aligning with the rhythm of divine timing. When you are guided to rest, rest. When you are guided to move, move. Prosperity flows best through a balanced vessel. Forcing results through fear or impatience leads to exhaustion and error. Trust that divine intelligence knows the perfect sequence of events. As you take each step with faith and gratitude, the next step will be revealed. Faith magnetizes the opportunity, gratitude multiplies the return, and right action crystallizes the result. Together, they form a chain of creation. The person who lives by these laws never fears lack, for they know that abundance is not dependent on chance or market, but on spiritual principle. Even in times of economic uncertainty, their inner state remains prosperous. They may see fluctuations in the world, but their faith anchors them in stability. Their gratitude draws new streams of income and unexpected blessings. Their right action keeps the channels of supply open and active. To magnetize wealth, one must practice these principles until they become natural. Begin your day with faith by affirming, "I am divinely prospered, guided, and supplied." Move through your tasks with gratitude, blessing every person, every opportunity, every possession. When prompted by intuition, act without hesitation, trusting that divine intelligence leads you to greater good. Each day becomes a demonstration of law in motion. Faith, gratitude, and right action create an inner atmosphere where wealth is inevitable. They transmute fear into confidence, scarcity into flow, and limitation into expansion. No outer market can control the one who holds these truths, for their prosperity is founded on divine substance, not material conditions. Faith sees the invisible, gratitude multiplies the visible. and right action anchors the miracle into form. When these powers work together, you move beyond chance into mastery, beyond hope into certainty, beyond desire into demonstration.